everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, my name is Mariana and I interview the brightest minds of physical therapy. So if you want to increase your knowledge, start right now by subscribing to the channel, clicking on the bell so you don't miss anything, give us a thumbs up and share with your friends. Today our guest is Matt Huey and he's going to talk about MLMs and PT business coaches that sometimes are not so serious about their jobs and how this can affect other physical therapists. He recently had a discussion on his Instagram about that with other PTs and he's going to share his thoughts with us. Matt is a physical therapist with over 10 years of experience and is a McKinsey diplomat. I hope you enjoyed the show. Hi Matt, welcome to PT Pro Talk. How are you today?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today about a little bit of a polemic topic. So before that, just tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and how did you get to where you are right now?
So I'm originally from northern Mississippi. I've been quite a bit, so people kind of surprised by that. I graduated high school outside Chicago, Illinois. Did physical therapy school in California. So I am a Cal State grad, completed that in 2010 and moved back to northern Mississippi. And that's where I worked for the majority of my career. And now I live outside of Dallas, Texas. So I moved here when I was doing the McKinsey diploma program through the residency component. I was down in Austin and just fell in love with Texas. And it's great here. And so I decided to stay, and like I said, I really, really enjoy it here.
Awesome. When did you do the diploma?
I graduated in 2018. So I started it January of 17. There's a theoretical component. So backtracking, I took all the courses through my career, became certified in 13, and then applied and got to the diploma program that started in 2017, and then did the residency in summer of 2018, and then the exam in November of 2018, and completed that.
That's awesome. I hope one day I can do that.
Yeah. And then the fellowship. So I was fortunate enough right afterwards, was accepted into the fellowship program. Kind of on a little bit of a different manner of how they go about doing it. So I got in with other requirements, the different requirements now. So I kind of got in with those other requirements, which is pretty nice. I didn't have to deal with the other stuff that people had to go through.
Awesome. And so let's talk now about the MLMs and the PT business coaches. So I know there was a discussion going on your Instagram. So tell us a little bit more about that.
So I've had a thing kind of against MLMs for quite a while. So people don't know what an MLM is. It's a multi-level marketing company. So think about things like Tupperware or Herbalife. Those are multi-level. And what they essentially are is they want you to sign up. You're selling a product, but if you sign other people up under you and they sell product, you get a bit of their commission, and the further down the line you just get more and more money. And I started noticing these a few years ago. I mean, through college I saw them, and then a few years ago I was dealing with burnout in my career and talking about it in some groups, and started seeing that's what other people were saying. And then all of a sudden these people would come in, oh, I got this great opportunity, and realizing you're just signing up other therapists in these MLMs. So that got me, and I actually wrote a little article on it about it. So I pointing out people, hey, you need to be aware of these. They're not as good as you think they are. Then the PT business thing that created the big stir a few weeks ago came about because I wanted to start my own little cash side business. And I was signing up and I got a checklist from somebody. And I put an email address in there I don't use for anything. Has no attachment to social media. Nobody knows about it. And I get emails from somebody else. And I was like, how did he get my email? And so I tried to ask him and get no responses, comments deleted, blocked. Well, then time goes by and I keep seeing his ads and I can never comment because I'm blocked on them. And reached out and kind of called him out on Facebook, and he just got really upset about it. And I really started putting two and two together when I started watching two guys on YouTube. One of them is named CoffeeZilla, and the other one is Stephen Cornelia. And what they were doing is they were calling out these scammer traders and Ponzi schemes and these self-help gurus. And I was looking at that and then what these PT business coaches, and realizing it's almost exactly the same, is that their speeches were very, very similar. Their websites were set up so similar, and going, oh my gosh, this is the same thing. And it was lining up. So, and it was to start bringing out this other thing saying, hey, I think this is something that's going on in our community, and it's starting to affect people.
Yeah. And then when you throw that out on Instagram, so what were the comments of our colleagues? What was the feedback?
So overall, from followers and people that found it, it was extremely positive. People were reaching out going, I had signed up for one of those and it was a total waste of money. This person over here has been doing that for years. This person's stuff is just like this person because they're both students of this person. And they were very, very supportive of it. And they're really the only people that had problems were people that were these PT business coaches. And they were all kind of coming together and like supporting one another. It wasn't any outside people coming to their defense saying, no, their stuff is legitimate. Their stuff is really, really good. And it helped me grow my business. It was like I said, overwhelmingly the people that saw it were saying, I knew they were kind of fishy, and I always thought they were kind of goofy. So it was very surprising that people already had some of these experiences as well.
And I think it's important to talk about that, because I think that happens with a lot of people and we just don't talk about. We see a lot of people on social media, Instagram, and everything looks nice and shiny and attractive. And as you said, some PTs want to start their own thing. So we don't know a lot about business. So it's very easy to get in that traps. I mean, I know there are a lot of good business coaches out there, PT business coaches, but there are also the ones that are not so good. So how do you think that you can differentiate between them? Like, what would you tell PTs or advise them to do to try to find the right help?
So talking with some people, so I talked to a few people that were very successful in starting their own clinic or just other businesses as well. One big thing that a guy pointed out, he said third-party verification is a big one, and he creates courses and things like that. And so he said, I get these awards and things from them when I've hit X number in sales. And so showing that I've actually sold $10,000 or $100,000 worth of sales, so I'm verified in what I do. And so that was very, very interesting to see that, because there's some people that will say, hey, look, here are these third-party sources that are backing up my claim. Whereas some other people are saying, oh, I have a six-figure clinic. And it's like, you can say that, but there's really, really no proof. Also, you can tell kind of, they set their websites up very, very similar. And if you go to their website and when you click to buy, everything is centered. there's buttons. There's always a button to buy. Like every time you scroll down, there's a button to buy. And if you start looking, they're all similar, and they're trying to upsell you. So you want my book? Okay, now we'll sign up for, or if you sign up for a call, well, why don't you go ahead and sign up for my Facebook group, or why don't you sign up for this mastermind group? And then they want to upsell you again, further and further and further. And so that's what they're doing. They're trying to sell you the next thing, and you'll see that as you try to click through, you're starting to get more and more of these. And again, and then things start being very, very similar amongst them. They're saying, we'll get you these number of followers, and then this person's saying the same thing, and then this person's saying the same thing, and they're just really kind of changing the word. So you kind of start seeing that they're, face to face. And another big one is that they're approaching you, and that's what kind of gets me, is like they're slipping over into you saying, "Hey, well, why don't you buy this?" rather than you trying to seek them out and say, "Hey, where's how can I sign up with you?" So that's been a big thing too, and that's especially with like MLMs, is that people will slip into your messages and they'll send you especially a voice message. If you ever send me a voice message, I'm not listening to it, because I know you're selling me something. I guess that's just to keep the physical, wording out. But if they're slipping in to you, then you're saying, "Hey, I see that you run this or run that." Also, there's no negative reviews. That is a big thing. These is getting caught out. Delete comments, block people, and so it's all positive. And like with anything, there should be some negative. There should be some people that are unhappy.
Yeah, you can't please everybody. So let me ask you about these third-party sources that you said that we can use to verify these companies. So do you have any recommendations on how can we do this?
Well, many of them will offer that up themselves on there. So there's one, I can't think of the name of it. It's like Kajabi or something like that. It's a site that you create courses on, and it will send you a third party. So usually the site that they're building their courses through will give a third party verification.
Okay. It's, just curious to see how we can just verify this, because sometimes it's hard to see if they are legit or not, or if because everybody can say that they have a successful clinic or anything, but as you said, it's hard to check that. So it's just good to know that usually if they are serious, they're going to have something like that on their website, so you can check.
Yeah. And I was really thinking about, even because like if you go to like a Facebook group that's full of PTs, typically some of their followers or people are on there. And so you may be getting a bias. And I think a closed group where it's like you can't sell, but there's a way that therapists can talk amongst one another to recommend in an environment to say, "Hey, I'm looking at Joe's course over here. Is it reputable?" And then people will tell you, "Yeah, it's a good one," or "No, it really wasn't worth the money on it. You can sign up for this one and you get the better information for cheaper." So there should be one of those, and I've kind of played with that idea here lately.
That was what I was going to ask. Like, so it would be good to have a group that people will be able to talk about that without being afraid of giving their honest opinion about the experience they have, so they help other people to don't have the same experience and look for someone that is just better and can truly help them. So I'm supporting. If you create the group, I'll support it. Just let us know.
Okay. So it seems like if it was like a safe area that people could talk about that, but not be malicious or bad. And I think that's what an admin and moderators to say, don't bash anybody, don't be mean, but be honest to say, "No, this course really wasn't worth it." Or to say, hey, I got a lot out of this person's class, or to say, hey, go pick up this business book from the library or Amazon, and it'll give you just as good information.
Yes, absolutely. Just to share really honest opinion, so we would be actually helping out each other now with the goal of talking bad about other PTs, and because I know there are a lot of serious PTs that do a very good job as coaches. So you're actually trying to help the good ones and don't let them go to these ones that are not so experienced and that you don't even know if they build a successful business. So I think that would be very helpful.
Yes, that's the crazy thing of looking at it, and to think about that if you're really running a successful clinic like these business people are saying, when do you have time to build these courses and to have calls, teach mastermind classes? Because I've ran a clinic before that was very, very successful, very busy. I didn't have time to do anything outside of treating, marketing, documentation, and trying to be at home and be a dad. And I had no time. And it's like, how are you able to do this and run a successful clinic? This doesn't line up. And a few people told me that they know people that teach this, and they said that they found out that they make more money selling courses than they actually do in their clinic. And to think, and doing the math on this, if you come up with a class for $5,000, you can sell 17 people a year, and you make more money than the average therapist. So that's $85,000 a year, and the average therapist makes 84, and it's 17 people.
It's crazy. Yeah, it is crazy. Yeah. So are you going to create this Facebook group for us?
Yes, I got to get on that now. Now I've spoken into the world, and now I have to get on that.
Yeah, absolutely. We would appreciate that. I just have a question about these MLMs that you're saying that's very common. So I think I mentioned that before, but just asking, is that related to healthcare or is related to other products that is just PTs trying to pass that to each other?
It's been a little bit of a mixture of everything. So the goofier ones I've heard were about vacations. And yeah, so you sell these vacation packages and things like that to people, and it was like really goofy. But they were targeting PTs because, think about it, like you're in front of new people all the time, and so you can talk to new people all the time. I think they also get in with things like CBD oil or weight loss stuff, is that they're trying to get you to bank on who you are as a healthcare provider by saying, oh, look, this healthcare provider is suggesting CBD oil or a weight loss product. So they're using your credentials to sell that as well. And with the rate of people getting burned out and tired and things like that, they're coming in to say, hey, look, you can supplement your income and you can make as much money as before, and you're not seeing people and ends and it's just kind of a lot of our healthcare type products on it. And so the new one I've got is this gut health. So I've probably gotten 2 or 3 emails and messages about promoting this pill for help for gut health. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. It just cut it a little bit, but I think I understood what you said. You said about the people reaching out to sell products and use the PTs as the healthcare face to try to endorse what they are doing, and many PTs that are trying to supplement their income, that they are tired, burnout. It's kind of something that's very attractive that they can start doing it and not be something very serious and kind of doesn't give them the credibility that they should be doing it, right? So before we transition to our final questions, do you have anything else that you want to add about this topic, about the business coaches that we talked, MLMs, and anything else?
Yeah. So with starting a business, like, you don't have to dive off the deep end. You can find a lot of stuff all through Google and YouTube and business books that you could find a lot of that information there and get started small and learn how to have additional sources of income. Or if you want to start your own clinic, you can, again, look at a lot of those resources and start there. And just start small and learn it and enjoy the process. And if you feel like, hey, I'm ready to take that next step, doing the research, talking to colleagues, and finding a business coach that lines up with your goals. Somebody that's not going to give you very, very general stuff. That's like, no, I'm going to coach you one-on-one to be successful.
Yes, absolutely. And talking about that, do you have any favorite resource of information or any books or anything that you like in particular that you would recommend?
Some of the books I like, one book I will tell to anybody is called Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. Now, I know Napoleon Hill has a lot of controversy behind him now. However, this book talks a lot about finding a definite purpose and avoiding certain things and how to focus. And I would tell anybody in any walk of life to try to listen to this book or to read it. It's a great book. In terms of business, the book, it's called Obstacle in the Way is one, and Building a Story Brand, two great books. Obstacle in the Way, kind of a business book. It's just about overcoming obstacles and hardships and how you can turn that into being something very beneficial. And then Building a Story Brand is something, just how to build your specific brand, whether it's your company or yourself or whatever. So those are a couple. Papers are always kind of hard because there's so many out there. It really depends upon the situation and what is needed. But I always tell people, try to look for really high quality studies. And we as therapists know to look at the hierarchy of a study, who published it, what is looked at, and to interpret those results. So those are some things that I would tell anybody.
What would be the best advice that you give to clinicians that are starting their careers?
So for any new clinician, I got a few things I like to tell them. First off, be ready to take your lumps. That comes with it. You probably won't find that perfect job right off the bat. But when you get out there, you're going to learn what you like, what you don't like. And it's just going to make you a much better therapist going forward. Also, I tell them learn as much in the clinic as you can. Learn about all the positions in the clinic. I mean, everything from front desk to every staff position. So that makes you not only more valuable to that clinic, because if you have a little downtime, you can send out faxes or you can call patients or you know how to schedule patients. But again, if you go work for another employer, or if you go out on your own, you know how to do all of that. So it can save you down the line. And another thing I will tell people, when you start your career and you're working and you're learning, be a purist about things for a little while. So I know MDT is a big thing that I do. And I tell anybody getting into it, be a purist for a while. And I'm not talking about a couple of weeks, and maybe talking about several years of your life, but that you're really getting into it. It gives you a much deeper knowledge into it, because I know, like with one thing with MDT, people know the basis of it. So anybody with back pain, that is extend-them, or neck pain, that is retract them. But if you have spent time going through the method, you realize it's way more than that. It's way more. And I would say with anything that you do, if you get really deep into it, it's going to make you a much better clinician overall.
And final question, what personal qualities or abilities that you think are important to become a successful physical therapist?
So really, I would say to be a successful PT, you got to be flexible. And I've learned that through my career. We're dealing with one of the most volatile things in the world, and that's human beings. So you're going to have people that come in early and people that show up late, people that are in a lot of pain or no pain, and family members have upset them or something's going on. So you got to be able to roll with it and just be able to change on the fly. If you tend to be really linear, it's got to be A, B, C, D. People tend to freak out quite a bit on that. So you always have to be able to flow as it goes, and some days are going to be better than others. So, but overall, it'll be good. Also, being pretty thick-skinned is a good quality for a therapist, because we take a lot from patients and other providers. Patients come in, they may be angry at a family member, they may be angry at a case manager or a physician, and because we spend so much time with them, they can be pretty brutal on us. And also we're not really highly respected. That's just the truth in the medical world between the providers and the patients, and so people think they could just talk down to us. So tell people it's like, no, have that thick skin, let it roll off your back. And that even comes to with work. So if you're working for an employer and they're wanting you to do things you're not comfortable with or work more hours than that you're originally signed up for, being thick-skinned and tough enough to say, nope, I'm taking my vacation, or nope, this is, I'm out of here, I'm not going to do that. So a couple things that I have found going forward, that if you're another thing, like I said, flexible and you're pretty tough, you're going to be pretty successful. You're going to last a good while as a therapist.
So, Matt, if people want to learn more about you or your work, I know you are always posting things on social media. So how can people find you?
So I'm on Instagram. You say I got the goofiest name. It's Matt_PT_DIP_MDT. I probably should change it. Or my website, mattthept.com. And so there's any way of communicating. So if you want to email me on there, also all my social media is on there as well. And I'm always happy to talk to people about anything. So if people are curious about, MDT or like the fellowship I went through about doing that, or, transition to different roles, or, like I said, any of that, I'm always willing to talk with people and make some time and, let's talk. Let's see what we can do to help you out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing all of that with us. And I'm going to make sure to put everything on the show notes so people can find you and ask you questions, participate in your topics on Instagram, your discussions and all of that. So we can all help each other to grow. So I think that's the goal. Okay, Matt, thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate you coming here today and talking with our audience. So I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.